Okay, I'm making an underwater action adventure game, and in the last video, Ratchet Eating channel, I made some more cutscenes. I spent 2 weeks making these. Now I could just keep on going with them for more polish and everything, to lip sync again, make a model for Veil, set up secondary cutscene positioning, or I can forget about all of that for a while and make the rest of this 10 to 20 minute demo I'm working on for the game. Maybe after this enemy mini arc, I can justify making some more songs for the demo. And a remix to the original one to spice some stuff up. Now why the full biggest chase range is 5 and the attack range is 2? What is this? So it may have taken hours to figure this out. I went to an old plastic commit, which is the version control program Unity's defaulted to now. So I copied some snippets of code to test it out from there and to see if there's something weird going on in Unity. And I mean, just what? This is just flat out weird, and it broke. Okay, okay, I can't even swim now. But good news, we have confirmation it is something of Unity, not my code. Nah, not my problem. Hey, don't be skipping off so quick. You're working on this game, Bolsky. Do your job. I have found it out. It was Unity's problem, and that problem was in the game object. It was the colliders. Bruh. See here, there's a collider for attacking stuff and triggering that. So turning those off, and I'll delete them later. New problem. How do I damage the biggin if it needs the collision that messed everything up so it can be heard? The way I was doing it mean it attacks way early. The thing is, peoples, I can't just do a simple box or sphere collider for this because this guy is rideable. And the mesh, I did it again. And the mesh collision I was using before is only for static or non-moving objects. What I had was fine for then, but because of this thing, it triggers the attack way too early. So, new problem. The collision for the pseudo collision is gone. Okay, I go bed. And the next day, grab up plastic history, and after maybe 20 minutes later, we good. Yes. Now I can't figure out the collision to make it rideable. Let's just go to something more important because I can see this taking way too long, and I have little versions I can work on anyway. I still gotta remodel this. Any aspiring concept artists out there? I'd love to see some ideas for how to make these things more cutesy. If you do want to send stuff through, the best place for that would either be Discord, which is the perfect place for me to help you out. I mean, I want people to chase their dreams more, so even if you just want advice, go Discord or DM. I'll help as many people as I can. Okay, I ruined my segue, but it's worth it. The baby isn't attacking, so I wrote a thing where I just tell it to stop attacking and add drag, so it doesn't just zoom. Then I realized the attack animations weren't triggering at all. So I took the biggin script, chucked them straight into the little guy, and then one attack was triggering out of the 4 options. I am going to limit the baby's attack variations to 2, but still it is doing it for 1. Eventually I just dove straight back into plastic so it can save my ass. Then I see the thing just launching straight to the player, animating, waiting for a second before attacking again, and I forgot why I put this part in the script. I don't have any footage for it, so I'm just going to continue by saying I then realized The trigger object mainly used for positioning and orientation stuff, which was apparently important, was the baby's core mesh itself. And no, I refuse to separate different methods into their own script. And for the 90% of you that aren't software engineers trying to yell at me for my methods, don't worry about it. The problem with using the mesh instead of a more precise object like the jaw position that I was using for the biggins is there actually isn't a problem. I just had separate points to use instead of this tiny thing, so I just made the core mesh the point for everything, for all the logic points here. Which for this, for now, is fine. So after that, I can put the attack cancel thingy back in, and now the logic's looping. I need an exit condition, so I can do a cooldown thing here. Instead of just setting the attack to false and letting it attack again based on the distance, which is why it's just going la 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 la. So then I can just invoke a cooldown and it's not working. Why? Through the power of debug logs, I can see the cooldown isn't even being called, so I am not invoking it properly. And that's the problem. You don't invoke quarantine, you invoke methods. That, in other words, I did the wrong thing, and the thing that usually tells me it's wrong, it didn't say anything. So don't worry about the intricacies of that, it doesn't really matter. Because that's the single easiest debug session I've ever had. And with more logs, I know that the logic is interfering with the cooldown. Turns out I was still using the quarantine wrong. It's not meant for timers, which a lot of people already know, but I have now figured it out. It returns values after time. I don't know everything, but I swear it wasn't like that before. I've never had that problem. Fine then, I'll use my own timer. It's not going above 0.02. I don't remember exactly what happened here, but I was still missing something and I forgot to get footage, so I don't know. Cool down. This took all afternoon and I got pretty distracted because reasons I'm trying to fight against, because I don't want to stop and I'm tired, but I don't want to stop, but I'm tired, but I don't want to stop. And right there, I gotta fix that. I said stop. Stop it! Okay, now that it's fixed, up next is the enemy type specific logic. So for this one, I introduced some sneaky boys and some aggravation. That little bit's just meant to send it around you and like stalk around you instead of just disappearing. So, but if you stand around, you're gonna die. The enemy though should not just sit there attacking you over and over and over again without any other logic taking over. This enemy type is a sneaky little kitty, but it's also a pack animal. So let's just try the swarming stuff to see what I can do with the stalkings. Problem, I have one script that is meant to act as a control box, but I need to separate it out to get all the pieces I need for the individual enemy and then run the logic from the control box. The more I can manage through it instead of the individuals, the better the performance will be, for obvious reasons. But I need the individuals to tell the control box about what values it needs. So I go to idea search, and wow, the Bing AI thing was actually helpful for once. It really just regurgitated like 3 different sources, but I took that, made a parent script with all the common attributes, and then a child subscript with the attributes that are used for the individual things only. So now all the parent logic will be ran on top of the individual logics, so I can control a bunch of the children's by the parent and still have the children doing their own things. So for now, I have one method in the parent class and the rest of it is just on the individual enemies, but that is okay, because spoiler, the swarming stuffed logic, that was just a mess. Just after splitting those up, I was able to check the mesh game object name to see if it was containing certain letters that I used to define each enemy's size. Now, I don't know how many begin types will exist when I do the demo, but I really need to not feature creep. I'm planning 2 in the demo. It's a 10 to 20 minute thing, so that'll be more than enough. And then on a release, I have a lot of ideas and environment designs for them, okay? So just don't worry about it. I just gotta be careful. Now, take a looky at that. So, I lost the base cooldown. Let's just continue. And look at that. I mean, the beasts decided to go sniffing for cheese because there's no collision on them, but simply copying the script from the baby and enabling the extra attack is pretty good. It is pretty good when it works. And now we are getting there. You can start to see all these little pieces starting to form something now. Okay, that's a bit too connected. Oh, the bull is on the master script. It's gotta be enemy relative for when you're chasing and when you're attacking. Okay, now it turns out that's all the time we got for this week. So next up is the aggro system. So before we leave, you might have noticed a big gap in the upload schedule. That is because I got a job and I'm trying to merge the Ratchet Eden channel into this one more. So there's this video on this channel, and the video for next week's stuff will be out today as well. So go check Ratchet Eden channel for that. But don't worry, I will be merging stuff into this one. So you'll see more videos start popping up on this channel now. So yes. And yeah, I got a job. I was full-time on this game, like working full-time, but I've been living off my savings for a while. That's how I was able to do that. So now, gotta get a job. Doesn't mean we're stopping though. We're going full speed regardless. Okay, now, bye-bye. Go check out the video on Ratchet Eden's thingy if you want to see the video that is meant for. And that's it. I got nothing else to say, so bye-bye.